Alright everyone, we are back with Scallywags here on EVNs Now TV and EVNsnow.com. JP3 here with you as always. Let's see how, I don't know, we're almost at the hour mark. I'm going to try to hold my commentary, and if we get to the end of this thing in this video, I'll let it out then. Just gonna do the narration and keep it moving. Cross your fingers, everybody, and hold on to your butts. Here we go. What do you think happened? I flew off. You mean you lied to them? Of course. You know me parents are dead. They know what I'm up to, and they're the proudest parents alive. So they should be. As if I'd be traitorous enough to abandon me crew. What is this, Swabby? I'm sorry, but nothing. Shut up. No, say it. Captain, ye were going to leave. I woke up, remember? You were on your way out and I asked you what you were doing with me teddy bear. Wait, Peggy belongs to you? But it was okay. I got her to stay. Ye lily-livered swine bag. No one understands me like Peggy. How did ye get her to stay, Swabby? She looks at Captain, rubbing her arm anxiously. Well, Captain rolls her eyes. She told me that our treasure is probably worth more than what those farmers would make in a lifetime. Happy? Over the moon. Don't act like he wouldn't have done the same. Well, I just feel bad for that couple who wanted to adopt ye. What was the point of that story anyway? All it did was remind us you're the worst captain alive. It were a bit depressing. Get a hold of yourselves. Don't forget that I was protecting you by saying I was all by myself, acting like a helpless child. Swallowed me pride, I did. And to top it off, I didn't abandon you. Only because you found out the price wasn't right. Well, you weren't supposed to hear that part, were you? This is going nowhere. I'm half tempted to just grab what's mine and take off. I halfway to the door before Captain Gunner pile on me. Curse me, little legs. Okay, 3 laughs. It got 3 laughs out of me. Not bad, considering all the issues I'm having with this game. If anything, that sorry tale of yours would have proven you don't deserve a penny. Oh, and you deserve so much for what you do. Knock your head sideways. What makes you think you deserve the biggest cut? I'll have you know I fought in every battle. Like you ever needed a raisin. Alright, Gunner, you do really enjoy waving your sword about and firing cannons and the like. So, is that a crime? Well... Oh god. Okay, that was just the obvious joke. The point is that what you do isn't so much work as it is you just having fun. You got the easiest job of a lot of us. As Gunner's job drops, the barman delivers our next round of drinks. Again, his eyes darts towards the treasure. You know, we accept tips. Bugger off. He buggers off. You lot are seriously airheaded if you think this job's easy. Captain sighs. Alright, I suppose it's your turn to tell us a tale. You damn right it is. I'll tell you a time when me duty wasn't all dilly-dally. Here we go. Okay, let's skip to the good stuff. Good. What? There I was, face to face with the enemy pirates who plundered our ship. I drew out my sword, not feeling like wasting me gunpowder, and prepared myself for battle with 5 pirates at once. And then, 2. Yeah. What? There were 2 pirates, says I. You don't know that. Of course I do. I was there, you washbacker. But you gotta admit, they were huge, weren't they? Probably 5 times me size. I suppose. Okay, so there were 5 pirates. Hang on. Yeah, I didn't do this to your proxy story. That's because you hadn't heard it before. We were all there when this happened. Why are you telling us what we already know, Gunner? Well, clearly you didn't grasp the magnitude of the situation I was in. So you lessons can shut your mouths and listen to it from my point of view, savvy? Can't argue with that. Yeah, you never can you, first mate? You're a flip-flop and you never stand up for yourself. So why don't you just keep your voice down from now on? So there I was. I looked him straight in the eye and... Shut up, Captain. And I said to the pirates, I did it. I finally stood up for myself. Suck a dove, Captain. Ha! That's great. Now quit your blabbering while I tell me story. To hell with your bastardization of real-life events. I have confidence and self-esteem. Just in case you didn't catch that character development that was so subtly put into the story, let me shout it at the top of my lungs so you get it. I have a gun. I'll be quiet. Good call. Now get out me flashback. This story is so ridiculous. Like at this point, like I laughed at it 3 or 4 times at something legitimately funny in the story. Now I'm just laughing at how ridiculous it's been. End already. Alright, so there I was. I know I promised. Keeping my mouth shut. Clenching my teeth. Here we go. So there I was. Ship invaded. 5 pirates. Blah blah. I looked him straight in the eye and I said, "Ye wouldn't hurt a weed last, would ye?" Then I charged at him. I were a sight to behold. Ducking and weaving until I found myself a moment to strike and bam. Disarmed. Literally. I still don't see how this was any fun for ye. I'm getting to it. So then, of course, I hopped onto the enemy ship docked next to us. Did I forget to mention that was there? We were there. You don't have to explain anything. Okay, so, alone was I, when I made the mighty leap onto the deck of hell. Suddenly, more landlubbers burst out from the cabin when aren't ye forgetting someone? No. Liar, I was with ye. Aye, me and Swabby had to finish off the lot on our ship while ye and Captain weren't on theirs. So what, Captain, as usual, were as useless as a skydiving Kiwi. You're talking between your legs. I was clashing swords left and right and center. Exaggerated. So I climbed up their mast, grabbed hold of the rope, sliced the bugger, and then swung all the way down, kicking them in the faces as I went. Exaggerated? You didn't swing very far and you... Stop smiling, Swabby. Or what? You fall on her? No, I saved your life at one point. Impossible. One guy had a gun pointed at ye and grateful ass. I made like the wind and dashed over to him, then using me rubber dog bone. Oh, do I need to explain that? Again, we were there, nothing needs explaining. I pity eavesdroppers. Swabby's the only funny one, like, that's only because she's like, she should be the main character. She's the one pointing out the obvious on our behalf and making the whole thing lighter than, you know what, teeth clenched for keeping going. I used me toy bone to jam, why does she have a toy bone? To jam the nozzle and then the thing blew up in his face. You don't say it, and don't ye say it were exaggerated. Actually, I do remember a loud bang. Alright, so after we defeated the dead crawlers who stormed the cabin, my Jupiter was a mess. Bullet holes in the wall, spider webs everywhere, stuff were getting moldy. It looks especially like me bedroom. Alright, but before we could start snooping around, the captain burst through the door. Blimey, he were like something big and sky related. A blimp. Some captains really let themselves go. It'd be an easy trap, says I. Captain, as greedy as you are, I admire your ability to stay in Well, I think you're gonna. I mean, I've heard better, but... So what happened with the blimp? Well, I ran out of rubber bones to tempt him with, so we had to draw our swords. I got into me fighting stance, recalling everything my parents taught me. Then just as I were about to remind myself why I'm the best captain in the sky, I remembered me name. Oh. I shot him in the leg. Easy. But at least he could go home and tell everyone not to cross the path with us. Yeah, what a day that was. Well, at least we got one of their adventures. It was... If the entire game was like that, that would have been a little bit more bearable. That's great. You both did a grand job. So, what were the hard part? Weren't you listening? Yeah, you said that hearing this story from your point of view would help us see how hard it is to do your job. That seemed easy to ye? You just said now that defeating the captain were easy. Nuh-uh. They're just drawing out time now. Yeah, huh? Blow me down. What a waste of time. I felt like I let my teenage years pass me by. Wait. So, are you kids? I'm not going to look too deep into that statement. I'm just going to assume you're thinking that because you're an idiot. Moving on. There must have been something hard about it, Gunner. What makes you say that? I can tell when she's telling the truth. But she clearly wasn't. I'm sick of Swabby standing up for them when they don't deserve it. Again, why am I this character? She is the much better protagonist. Gunner, what exactly was the hard part of all that? The whole thing. Even though it was easy? Well, it wasn't as hard as it were happening. Did you feel like it were hard after it had happened? I think so. There be no sense in this at all. You feel guilty? Far from. Them filthy toe rags nearly stole our treasure. Swabby, explain yourself. I just think Gunner's not giving us the full story. Did I mention the rubber dog bone? That part made sense, but... Swabby covers her mouth as she stares thoughtfully at her drink. Her latest drink came with a new umbrella. Suddenly she reveals her mouth to gasp. It's Captain. We all turn to Captain. What? Did you congratulate Gunner after you defeated the pirates? Pfft, I don't know. Probably. Like hell you did. In fact, you never show any appreciation for what I do. Makes me wonder why I even bother. I think Swabby's onto something. That's it. Gunner finds it hard to be motivated for what she does because Captain doesn't seem to appreciate it. Keeping my mouth closed. I missed a line, but I'm keeping my mouth closed. I don't need her approval. I'm my own pirate. But I suppose it'd be nice to know I'm doing a good job once in a while. You are good at what you do. Gunner looked at Captain with great interest. Really? Of course, you're in me crew. I don't keep any old floor scrubbers around. No offense, Swabby. Someone's got to do it. At any rate, I won't have you sulking and whining when you do a fine job, savvy? I don't know what to say, Captain. Why are you blushing? Could this be? Are we having a moment? What kind of moment? What are you talking about? What's going on? Just that the job you do isn't worth much, that's all. Never mind. Yeah, I got fed up here with your lack of respect. Likewise. How are we going to work this out now? Then, we're back where we started. As if to prove me point, Gunner reached for Swabby's fresh lemon wedge. No. Gunner's hands are too quick for Swabby. She takes the wedge and lobs it right at Captain, knocking her head a little. That's it. Captain hops from her stool with great force, making it fall backwards. Gunner does the same. They both draw swords and the noise of the bar settles down. Take it easy, lasses. New rule. Whoever doesn't die get the booty. Well, damn. First mate, hop down and draw me dagger. We step to an empty space. Finally, something is happening. We step over to an empty space of the pub and position ourselves in a triangle. The patrons start to gather around. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Some great big men have picked us up by the collars. Oi, get your filthy hands off me. We dangle in midair, waving our swords about as they carry us to the door. This is ridiculous. This is why there are no events. Where there are like there's 1 event CG in this entire thing. 1. Which ruins my count, but there's the reason why there's not a lot of them in it, because this mental image is ridiculous. And stay out, you nasty little vultures. I fall to the floor first, with Captain and Gunner thrown on top of me. Jupiter, they're heavy. They shift and kick about until they manage to pick themselves up again. I catch my breath and stand up, looking back at the pub. The burly man head back inside. The barman nods at them as they pass. Dusting myself off, I pay particular attention to Swabby, who exits the pub with a sack of loot. The barman stands by Swabby and stares at her expectantly. Swabby gently lowers the sack to the floor, rummaging through it. She comes up with a handful of doubloons. The barman pockets them and turns to us. At least one of you isn't a selfish wretch. Not the first word that came to my mind. Have a nice day, kid. Swabby smiles at the barman and returns to the pub, slamming the doors behind him. How does he know we're selfish? Keeping my mouth shut. Swabby awkwardly approaches with the booty. She stands before us. Well, you have to admit, the way he delivered our drinks and cleaned that glass at the same time was worth a tip. Sorry, I promise I didn't give him too much. Captain sighs. It'd be no trouble. Are you still going to fight to the death? Gonna crack her knuckles. Captain and I look at each other. I think I know what she's thinking. What do you think, first mate? Swabby should decide who gets what. Huh? I was actually going to suggest we team up on Gunner, but sure, that works. I'd be prepared for either of those things. We all look at Swabby, who seems just as perplexed. But why me? You heard the bar slave. You're the least biased out of the lot of us. You're the underdog of each of our stories, every story for that matter. You always supported us and never complained. And you're the least likely to claim most of it yourself. Gunner nods as I lower my head. I'd be lying if I said I weren't partially the case. Whatever that said. I can't English. Swabby bites her lips and look at the sack of riches. I raised my head again, walked over and put a hand on her shoulder. It's okay, Swabby. Whatever you decide, I'll know it'll be the right choice. Swabby looked up to me. I gave her a smile. She returns it assuredly. Just don't cop out and share it equally. I'll have something to say about that. Maybe she needs her space, so I'll go ahead and step back. Me, Captain, and Gunner are more or less lined up, awaiting our fates. Finally. We're gonna keep going because we're at the end of this thing. Okay. Swabby's judgment is going to be the most honest account there is, so I'm quite nervous. What if I've been delusional the whole time? Maybe I don't deserve as much as I thought. That says, I don't think it's about the treasure. Oh my god, no. No. You're not going here. You will not go here. Pull back now before it's too late. Huh? Swabby clears her throat, then turns to me. I curl my toes as that strange feeling of guilt emerges in my belly. First mate, when we were being chased by those cultists and you came up with a plan to stop them, can you remember how happy we felt when we did it? I nodded. It was splendid. And Gunner, when ye and Captain worked together to stop those enemy pirates invading our ship, you loved it, didn't ye? This is officially, my theory is completely gone now. They're not pretending, we're just in the middle of a Nick Jr. show. Aye. But you didn't do it for yourselves, you did it for us. Yep. Couldn't bear thinking that you put your life on the line for us and that we might not appreciate it. And for a brief moment back there when Captain expressed her gratitude, you seemed genuinely happy. Gunner scratches the back of her head. And Captain, I think Swabby gulped when she made eye contact with Captain, who was raising an eyebrow at her. I'm sorry, but I know you're too embarrassed to let the crew know why you really stayed. What? Captain tightens her lips, but doesn't say anything. Her gaze wanders, avoiding eye contact with any of us. She didn't really stay because of the treasure. All it took was for me to say how much I'd miss her if she left. That, and she's the only one who could fly us off the mountain, but that's not the point. Captain stays with us because no matter how much we argue, she cares about this crew more than anything. Right, Captain? Captain folds her arms and grumbles. Well, aren't you all full of fluff? Gunner punches her arm playfully. Captain just looked offended. Don't you see, lasses? We're not in it for the destination. We're in it for the journey. She's about to throw it off the side. I can't argue with that. You never can you, first mate? I failed to resist me grin, but before I knew it, we're both giggling. The lot may have been a pain in my backside, but I wouldn't trade our time together for anything. So I've made a decision. I returned my attention to Swabby a little more relaxed than I was before. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad if we just split it equally. I could still afford everything I wanted. Swabby kneels slightly, rearranges her hold on the stat, and stands up straight again before making her approach. Here it comes. And there it goes. She walked right past us. Wait. Swabby? We turn around and watch as she makes her way to the edge of the docks. She stands, wind blowing in her hair, looking over the distant stretch of land and the swarm of white clouds. Suddenly the sack and all of its contents flies up into the air. It happened in slow motion. The golden relics of our efforts reflect blinding rays of sunshine as they scatter from the sack. And then, just like that, they're all gone. Swabby puts her hands on her hips as the treasure begins its long descent. Captain is the first to break from her stupor. We lean over the edge and watch as priceless artifacts tumble and shrink from our view. Why isn't it going forward? There. Now we can start all over again. Because all that matters is we have each other, and that's the greatest treasure of all. Gunner vomits. Are you out of your bloody mind? Do you know how much money that was? But I thought our friendship was worth more than gold. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Quick, if we get to the ship in time, we can catch it before it hits the ground. Gangway. Wait for me. Oh, God. How do I sum this up? Like, there were a few you could tell there were a few funny moments in there. There were some moments where I genuinely laughed at the stuff they were trying to get across. Scenario. Okay, so yeah, I'm familiar with Wave Dash. He didn't do the story, but yeah, there were some genuine moments of comedy in the story. However, this was I'd imagine to know who this story was made for. Like, if it was made for anyone under the age of 10, okay, you got a pretty decent start of something a little humorous for kids. It had all the basic tropes of kids shows there. If it was made for anyone over the age of 10, we gotta talk. It was tone deaf, I think. That's his biggest crime, where... Well, no, I can't say tone deaf because I'm still not sure who it was made for. I'm genuinely at a loss for words. I don't know how to sum this one up. It's a fantasy story of a bunch of 10-year-old sky pirates fighting over gold and telling stories about their friendship. And how friendship is the most important thing, and trying your best is the most important thing, and thanking and appreciating each other for their work is the most important thing. And I wasn't expecting that. If it was told like the Gunner's story, if it was the Gunner's story for each of them, if it was told more or less that competently, where it was just that overblown and ridiculous, then yeah, it would have been more or less, it would have been okay. I don't know how to class this thing. Let's go to the card while I think about it. So, it was definitely anime style artwork, text. The music was by somebody, so we don't get that square. We got a female protagonist, fantasy, supernatural themes. No choices, so we got a kinetic novel. Definitely a tsundere character there. Yeah, and the setting was definitely not in... Well, it was in the sky. I'm going to count that it's not in Japan. No... Yeah, no, bingo yet. I don't think it was terrible, no. Here's my thing. I have a very, very hard time thinking, and I know there are some people out there that say this is a very, very good game, but really think about this. Who is this game for? It's stuff that could have been, and the fact that you had children protagonists. Why? If this is just, I'm guessing this is just supposed to be a big joke and it's supposed to be funny, but it really isn't all that funny either. I'm gonna have to, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about this one. Right now, me personally, despite the few laughs that I did get, there was so much it did wrong just storytelling wise. Just from the fact that it really didn't set up the cast that well. The background was pretentious and obvious. The themes were so far overblown that you have to be blind, deaf, and dumb to not see them coming from a mile away. To the point where I was hoping that it was where they were just pretending in the backyard. But it's just as a story structure, it was absolutely basic. You could turn it on Nick Jr. or whatever the Disney Kid channel is. You can turn it on there right now and get something just the quality of this. You can, and of all 3 episodes I've watched of that My Little Pony show, you could it's probably just on the same level as this. I mean, it's not. I'm trying to think because I don't think it's. Well, it's because if it was written for a younger audience, it's bad, but it's an understandable level of bad because you're writing to that audience. But when you're writing for somebody with comprehensive brain ability and someone who has read something more than Dr. Seuss, and I know I'm insulting a lot of 8-year-olds because when I was 8, I was reading pretty well at my age, but when you're reading more than kid stuff, this just feels like, I don't know, it's just like it feels absurd. It feels completely absurd. And I could be completely wrong, and if I am, great, it has a great future, and I'm happy to see someone targeting a younger demographic, because there's good potential there. But anywhere other than that, I think it's just a case of, maybe I was right before when I said it was tone deaf. It's the wrong audience for this kind of story. And again, unless you're just going to fill it with a bunch of jokes like you did with the blonde one, Swabby, and just have her, really, it should have been her as the protagonist. If you're going to make it a kinetic novel, fine, but just have her as the protagonist, just being the straight man, as they just get more and more and more ridiculous. The characters weren't, other than her playing straight man, the characters weren't really all that likable, or weren't really well identified. I mean, other than just being loudmouth kids, there was really they really just existed to execute the various lessons and morals of the story about friendship and everything that comes with it. I haven't felt this uncomfortable talking about a visual novel in a long time, and that's when something was trying to be too adult. This is going the far opposite direction and trying to be too kiddie. I don't. I'm going to stop this video. I got a few more minutes. Let me try and narrow this down. The art was atrocious. The character art was pretty basic, all things considered. They looked, I mean, this is where the Moe style was if you're going to talk about little kids. The background art was bad, and you only have a month, and I know you can only do with what you got. But with the different animations for the different items on the table and stuff like that, you think you could add a little bit more polish to the backgrounds, especially once you were inside. That captain story was terrible. It was just bad. It had literally no point. At least the others were somewhat connected to this absurd world. But the fact that you have adults on the ground treating kids like kids instead of, not even on the ground, in the bar, everybody's treating them like little children. And yet we're supposed to believe they got this giant mountain of treasure somehow by literally, like the Gunner story. We're going off shooting people in the leg, cutting off arms, and this is a mess. I'm just going to leave it there. This is a mess. I can't, in good faith, consider it good when this much is just out of whack. And I'm willing to admit this may just be me. It may just be my personal distaste for the type of story that it told and the loud, obnoxious way it told it. But even then, I just can't wrap my head around a scenario where this is something that I can even put up to their efforts last year was pretty. I mean, with that, at least it led to a satisfying conclusion. This was an episode of a little kids show. I never thought I'd see the day when I'd review it here on EVNs Now. This is gonna require more thought, but right now something this much of a thematic mess. It wasn't written badly, it's just the direction and the audience it was written towards. I'm gonna start now. I'm burning up clock and I can't wrap my head around it. At least, like, you can see the My Little Pony influence there on it. You can see they're stronger than ever, and if this is the tone they're gonna carry into Star Wars Academy whenever it comes out, maybe, well, no, because it's going to lean in Katawa Shoujo's direction, so holy crap, my head is starting to hurt. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. I would say go ahead and play it if you want, but honestly, you've seen everything the game has had to offer, so I would just judge your own conclusion from that. Leave a comment, tell me I'm interested to hear what you guys think about the game. And just what were they trying to accomplish? What audience were they trying to reach? Because outside of those 3 jokes, it was not funny. And the characters weren't all that likable. Outside of its massive, clunky friendship theme, there's really nothing else here. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what you guys have to think about the game. I'm in a weird place with this, so I'm just going to end it here. Leave a like, leave a comment. VNsNow.com is the spot where we contemplate all these things. That's VNsNow.com, and we'll be back with something a little bit more clear-cut, hopefully, in the future. God, I can't wait to play the Blind Griffin. See you guys next time.